I know that's been up there, so I want to be, you know.
Oh, man. I thought
But
you were
yeah, it
talking
would be
about
great
it
to catch
at
that
the
on
fighting gym. I was like, you're killing people up there?
No.
You got to. There's no messing around.
Yeah, I gotta have a steady paycheck too.
All right, I'm gonna hit the button. We'll be ready to go.
Also, we just
that's it. Like this. It's welcome to Elegant Profanity. Your host Dennis Gleason, my co-host Travis Barnes. Today we're with Magic Mike Roberts.
Hey.
And Robert Turnquest.
What's going on, guys?
And he's not a middle dancer. I kind of thought I was going to come in here and it was going to be a Chippendale's recital, but it's not. It's definitely not.
Did that movie have any play on the deciding of the name or what?
Hell no.
Before you had that name.
Let me just make that clear.
You had that name before the movie or after? You got inspired by the movie. Like that's what I want to be. That's it.
Yeah. Let me make that clear. I got that nickname before that movie came out. Okay.
They said that's what you walk out to. That's how it came about.
Oh, now you're going too far.
You come out on one skinny black tie coming down your chest and black tearaway pants.
That would be kind of fun.
All right, end the podcast. This is over.
It. Well, that's the show for today, folks.
No, I got it from one of my old teammates, Andre Hall. He used to train with us, but eventually had to move to North Carolina. Basically, just got it. I just got the nickname for just my fighting style. I like to have more of the elusive, deceptive type of striking. And after all of my fights, I'll have a conversation with the guy that I fought, and every single guy, I swear, they would say, "Oh man, I don't know what you hit me with, but it hurt. I have no idea what you caught me with." So eventually, we just came up with the nickname.
How does that play out? Like everybody's pretty open, must be then. Like your competitors, like they critique each other. Is that pretty common?
Pretty much. I run into some good guys that I train with and that I fought against. I actually still keep in touch with those guys that I fight. And, they're all respectable, all professional. So we'll have conversations before and after. It's not always about, trying to be tough, trying to look tough. That's not what martial arts is always about.
What's so funny about that is everybody wants to compare. Well, they always want to say, well, they're just fighting. But
people on the outside of it.
Right. Well,
definitely just see, angry, aggressive people. But once you start to know people, it's like, nah, it's the complete opposite.
Well, the comparison that I'm making is, let's just go back to high school. Let's say me and you are classmates, and it keeps building up. We finally fight, quote unquote fight. Okay, we're not going to come up once the next day is over with and say, "Hey man, you knocked my ass out. That was a good right hook. I really like the way that you came in there, and it was right down the middle. It was beautiful." That doesn't really happen. It's usually you don't talk for a while after that. There's kind of maybe a grudge there, maybe some embarrassment. But see, as this is a professional thing,
exactly,
it's not just a fight.
Yeah. It's
actually two guys who are working on techniques and game planning for each other, and then they go in there and it's a sport, in a sense.
Exactly.
Well, not in a sense, it is.
It is
right.
I even said that last year when the first ones that I went was when you invited me, and it sounds ironic, but it's less violent live because you can see the human aspect in it. Like the ref's fully in control, people are respectful. It's less violent live. I know that sounds strange.
Well, believe it or not,
but it seems that way. It does seem that way.
Yeah, believe it or not, it's safer than college football and cheerleading.
Statistically?
Yes.
Yeah.
We look at the stats.
I can
scientifically
see that.
proven.
Yeah.
Because at least in football, you're wearing equipment. You know what I mean?
More deaths, more injuries, more concussions in college football than mixed martial arts.
Probably a higher speed too, I would imagine.
Possibly.
As far as being able to actually build up. Running across a field at someone and colliding, whereas now, how big is an octagon, do you even know?
Different cages are different sizes depending upon where you go. There's not like a set cage or a set measurement for the size or anything. So
either way,
it's all different.
Okay. Do you fight on? Have y'all ever fought on a card together?
Yeah,
a couple
times.
Yeah.
How was that?
To me, I think that's like the ideal situation because we get to do our training camp together. We're peaking at the same time. Like we're pushing each other.
Cutting weight together.
Cutting weight together, which is a huge problem. Normally, one person's cutting weight and they're angry at everybody and like nobody wants to be around them. So
your teammates right next to you eating a fucking cheeseburger or something.
So yeah.
Do y'all in that scenario would y'all fight someone that has the same camp as, like let's say your opponent is that it's going to be the same camp as your opponent?
Yeah, if they have the available fighter.
That'd be pretty cool, I would imagine.
Oh yes, great opportunity to do something like that.
Doesn't have to be the dead air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, passing,
I might as well
passing notes.
just say it out loud.
Might as well. So what weight class do you fight at?
Currently 145.
145.
Through my amateur career, I was 155 lightweight, and then when I went professional, then just dropped down to 145.
What do you normally walk around at?
About 168. Yeah. So when in between my camps, I'm just picking out ice cream, cookies, pizza, whatever you name.
How difficult is it to cut the weight?
For me, not so difficult because I like to start early. I actually like to do it the safe way because cutting weight can get very dangerous, very dangerous on your heart, very dangerous on your body. It's nearly impossible to go in a fight 100% after cutting weight. So me personally, I like to start early with the actual diet, and then by the time the fight comes around, or more so the last week, that final week where you're actually cutting the weight, just an easy 10-pound cut, just cutting off the water weight.
I don't see where you could cut any weight. I don't mean that in any disrespect, but you're kind of a lean guy. Rob,
I feel fat as fuck right now.
He's a thicker guy. Yeah, no, he fights at a bigger weight class.
A thicker guy. Put your cock away, please.
He's got these shorts on that's hanging out looking at me. But for you to cut that much, it seems unimaginable, really.
It's a little bit easier for the lighter weight classes because we're not too focused on keeping our muscle mass. The bigger weight classes, they kind of have to do that. They kind of wait to the last minute to cut the last 20 to even 30 pounds or so. The lighter weight classes, we can get away with that. We got to maintain our speed.
Right. I'm sure you're lightning fast, I imagine.
That's why I got the nickname right there.
Right towards the end, though, it's just water weight.
Oh,
it's just basically getting that number down.
That's what it should be. I mean, I'm not the healthiest person in the world, but there are certain things that I always stay away from at any time, regardless if I'm fighting or not. I mean, I don't eat processed foods, really.
Yeah.
I don't eat any frozen dinners.
Yeah.
Can't remember last time I've had a soft drink.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mine was this morning. As a matter of fact.
You ever get into using apple cider vinegar at all?
Yes, actually, it's pretty good with lowering your blood pressure.
Yeah. It's like a million uses.
Yes,
It really is a
definitely.
good thing.
Just a lot of little tricks I like to do when I start my camp as far as reducing my appetite. Adding lemon to your water,
Right.
Vinegar as well, spices to your food. There's a lot of natural ways to reduce your appetite, and that'll help you lose your weight.
Yeah. I've been juicing a lot lately, and I've been looking into
steroids,
like jalapeno juice, like literally juicing peppers and mix it in, as far as like boost your metabolism, energy. But that's got to be an interesting flavor.
So I actually have like a funny story about that. There was a guy that I worked with back in Hawaii, and he was trying to be a bodybuilder, and he was doing everything like completely wrong. It was funny as hell. But this guy read one of those things saying that like adding like hot peppers and juicing and stuff like that help speed up your metabolism, and it was like hot peppers and coffee. That was like the two things like to take to like help speed up your metabolism. So this guy actually went and bought like a hot pickle and like a French vanilla cappuccino, and he was like, it's basically the same thing.
No.
I've heard even, and it's controversial too, just depending on the person's opinion. Just straight, if you're gonna before you go to the gym, like straight black coffee.
Yeah.
Opposed to, not that it's healthy, but opposed to like the pre-workout powders. Like if you're gonna do one or the other, like just straight black coffee.
I mean, it's just straight caffeine for the most part.
Yeah, I don't recommend either one of them personally, but if you're gonna put one up against the other, I would say the coffee.
I completely agree.
Well, I think sometimes you like it's not you have to, but it does help a lot when you're starting to train 2-3 times a day, and each training session is an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like that starts taking a toll on your body. So I think having that caffeine to help keep you going a little bit.
Yeah.
That definitely. I know I do it and I use it. I probably drink at least a Monster a day. Between work and training and everything, like I'm only getting like 4 hours of sleep, 4 or 5 hours. So like I need that caffeine. Like I don't know how this guy does it. Not for me.
To train at the elite level or professional level more so, you definitely need to take some type of supplement to keep your body up to par.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the type of training that you do, especially to prepare for competition, that's the hard part, is during the camp. Especially when you're peaking, so you're breaking your body down physically and mentally. You need something to supplement that. Maybe something as simple as multivitamins or a protein shake a day, something.
That's why I don't really understand. I mean, I understand getting the caffeine would be, energy benefit, but I don't see how it could be better than a protein shake. So that seems like that a protein shake would have a lot more stuff that'd be good for your body.
And it probably does, like, long term, but
That'd be way better than the
caffeine is like, it's,
the monster.
you know, when I get done, you know, working out in the morning, and then I got to go to work, and I'm at work all day, you know, sitting there, and my job is boring as hell. You know, I'm looking at students all day, or trying to teach some computer or networking stuff. You know, that alone takes a lot just to stay awake. And when we get done, you got to go train. Like, you kind of need that little kickstart just to get you going. Once you get going, you're fine, but that caffeine definitely helps.
Do you the zero sugar? Like the no sugar
the
ones?
Sugar, 0 calorie monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I drink.
Yeah.
Which is essentially like a chemical shitstorm.
Yeah.
but as far as like not getting the crash from the sugar high, because it's not in there.
Yeah.
So it's basically just the chemicals in the caffeine, which isn't good.
Yeah. None of it's good, but I mean, it helps.
Have you ever thought about just switching to cocaine?
I have
Same
thought about
effects.
that.
Or even a natural one is, and since some of that I showed you, is the cordyceps mushrooms.
Yeah, I'm kind of skeptical about taking any type of mushrooms or anything, so I'll wait. I'll be out of the Navy here in a couple months. And,
No, I mean, it's complete. They're not like psychedelic mushrooms or anything.
Yeah, but you never know. I mean, none of this is like monitored or
No.
registered by the FDA.
Yeah.
So like they could throw something in there and that shit pops up.
Yeah.
And
Really, the thing is just do your research on different companies, because then now with the internet, like there's reviews on everything. Like Amazon is good just for the reviews, people's experiences on it.
Yeah.
It's
Like
still. I mean, there's still a level
gummy
of.
bear reviews. Those were pretty solid.
Was that like a virus? What is that?
No, there's someone posted a review about sugar-free gummy bears, giving them like explosive diarrhea, and then like everybody else like attested to it. They were like, "Yeah, this happened to me too," and people had all these.
They're like, "Thanks, I thought I was the only one. There's somebody else."
They had all these like crazy stories about it. But,
Yeah.
So Amazon's pretty good for reviews.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, at the end, you never know what you're really taking. You just gotta, like you said, do your own research. I mean, I just keep it simple to maybe a simple protein shake a day after a workout or something. I mean, I don't like to overdo it with the pre-workout, the post-workout,
Right.
the monster drinks.
No, I don't take any post-workout. I just do some pre-workout sometimes, take a monster, and then I just eat. Like you guys know, I eat a lot. So that's my post-workout is just food. That's about it.
So, with you being more judo, jiu-jitsu, and I'm assuming you're more of a stand-up guy with a name like Magic Mike, and then being elusive and whatnot. So, do y'all ever train together? Do y'all ever spar together and help each other in those fields of
all the time.
all the time?
All the time.
At our gym, it's more of a club. You know, everyone has their own specialty, so we all kind of learn from each other.
Do you do a lot of kickboxing, or mainly with your hands?
Mainly, yes, in my fights. I've always been more of a striker, so everyone that I came across, basically their game plan is just to take me down or press me against the cage.
Right.
But I like to be well-rounded and constantly improving on my weaknesses, so I've always focused on my grappling, my wrestling, and my judo.
Are you comfortable on the ground?
Yes, very comfortable.
Good. Dude,
So I'm with this guy all the time.
Yeah, he beats my ass.
can you throw using your judo? Or can you handle him pretty well?
No.
No. Takedown defense is pretty good. Then.
No, he's being modest.
No, I know I gotta pay for anything that I say on air now. So if I I'm toss Mike all the time.
And then tomorrow we're training.
We gotta spar for a couple hours, and he's gonna beat the shit out of me. So
about that podcast. So what were you saying yesterday?
Speaking of owning things you're gonna see on air, what is the deal with the pants?
What do you mean,
Your
the
American flag pants. I just saw them.
Oh, they're awesome.
They are awesome.
They are awesome. They're from ninjagrappling.com.
Yeah.
And they're grappling spats. A guy named Jamal Mitchell sent them to me. Really good guy. And I mean, if you've seen the pants, you know, like there's no deal. They're just awesome. You know, go check them out. Probably the most comfortable spats I've ever worn. I've got a collection. Like as soon as I see new spats, I'm like, oh sweet, I'm getting those.
Yeah.
And I kind of started a trend at the gym, and I know some of the guys are listening. They can say what they want, but when I first started wearing them, everybody was like, "You're a faggot. That looks super gay."
I was one of them saying that.
Yeah. And then, well, he's still.
he's wearing them. He has the assless.
Yeah, he's got the
assless spats.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard to take him down. They don't know where to grab him.
But yeah, like now half the guys at the gym, they see them and they're like, "Man, these things are comfortable. Like, I don't know why we weren't wearing these before." So, yeah, I like them. They're pretty good.
pretty soon you'll be painting your toenails and your fingernails and see if
not
that'll catch
get
on.
carried away.
Were they custom made for you?
No, they weren't custom made for me. There was just there was an issue. I think we talked about it last time about the blue belt. They called me out that wanted to do like a blue belt super fight.
Right.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
We talked about that. Yeah, he doesn't pay attention.
He doesn't. He's always walking around. He's in the kitchen.
Glad I could come over.
I'm
here
trying to
and talk
help.
to you
I'm
guys.
trying. Yeah, I mean,
He's cleaning ceiling fans.
So yeah, but anyways, on that thread where that blue belt was like talking shit and he was calling me out like, yeah, let's do a blue belt super fight, and we were like, yeah, that's what nobody wants to watch. One of the guys at his gym owns that company, and he and I started talking, and he was like, hey man, do you like wearing spats? And I was like, yeah, I do, naturally, like who doesn't?
Right.
And so he was like, well, if I sent you some of mine, you mind taking some pictures and posting them? And I was like, fuck yeah, like
nice.
let's get a pair of these things over here. So he sent them to me, and I got them yesterday, and I started posting the pictures today right away. Like I said, probably the most comfortable ones I've ever worn.
Is it safe to say that spats are the male yoga pants?
No, it's not.
It's not. I can't. It's not safe to say that.
I would say so.
It's safe. It's safe for him to say that.
All
It's not safe for you guys. Back to the dead silence.
What happened with that one fight where you submitted the guy with the armbar? You were wearing the spats, but Alan Belcher made a big deal out of that.
Yeah, so my first fight in Biloxi, Mississippi, I was fighting a guy named Daniel Sullivan, and good guy. He and I have since we've kept in contact. He's big into bodybuilding and stuff now.
He retired the guy, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was the final deciding factor, but anyways, he's not fighting anymore. He's doing bodybuilding, but yeah. So I go out to fight, and at the time, Mississippi didn't have any regulation on what you could wear as far as like pants, like spats, shorts, Valetudo shorts, or anything. Just nobody had worn spats. So I go out there and I've got these spats on. And Alan Belcher, this guy's fought in the UFC. He's like one of the top 5 at the middleweight weight class, and he starts like flipping out and going to the commission. He can't wear those. He can't wear those.
What difference does it make, though?
Exactly. What do you care? You're a UFC fighter. Like, you've seen people wear these things before. And even one of his guys wore spats underneath his shorts in a couple of his fights.
I guess one of our old teammates.
Yeah. So I go out there wearing these things, and he like flips out. So the athletic commission actually goes to my cornerman and tells him, and this is after the fight started. They're like, yo, if this fight goes out of the first round, he's gonna have to take those off. And my cornerman was like, yeah, he's got like compression shorts and a cup on underneath, and they're like, sorry.
How can a decision be made just off of one person's like issue? Like,
that's one of those, we don't really know how it works, but athletic commissions tend to favor certain people. And when you're a big name in a certain area, especially a small area,
your hometown.
Can you see where there could be an advantage or disadvantage?
No, not really. No.
What are the difference between spats and just regular?
The material. It's like a lycra material. Same thing that like wrestling singlets are made out of. It's that same material.
Is it like similar to what like Shogun wears? Like those shorts that Shogun wears?
Just longer.
Just longer than that?
Longer, yep.
So it'd be like essentially like slide shorts, kind of like with the ones you wear underneath like the basketball players wear underneath their shorts.
Kind of, yeah.
I wonder would the issue be like grabbing it and being so smooth? Is that the point they were trying to
make?
No,
because you start sweating and everything is like slippery as hell anyway. So that's really not an issue. So don't really know what it was. He just didn't like them. I know because I kind of Facebook stalk people before and afterwards. My opponents and stuff, just seeing
it's a habit. A lot of fighters do it.
Seeing the trash talking that's going on and stuff, and like everybody on his page was like, "Oh, who's the little girl in the spats?" And I was just going through.
You gotta figure that's gonna happen though, right?
No,
just guys ribbing each other.
They're saying this like after the fight, like to him, like, "Oh, who's this little girl in the spats? Who's the fairy? Who's wearing the rainbow spats?" And I just go through and I like all their comments. I never say anything back to it. I just like everything.
Did you know that during the fight that they come up and told your cornerman that?
No, I didn't know that. It was like immediately after they were like, "It's a good thing you finished that in the first round because you were about to have to take those off."
Really?
Yeah.
You should have just went dong out. If you had to take them off, just went completely nude and then put him in the armbar.
Cup would stay on, but
forget the cup.
Well, it's kind of.
It doesn't even make any sense though. Like, how could they penalize you against it if it's not even a rule to begin with?
It's one of those things that there's not.
It's not even like precedent for it.
Now there is a rule, but there wasn't a rule, so it's like, well, whatever we say goes. and you can't really argue with the state athletic commission. You know,
Yeah.
especially in another state. I'm not gonna name the state, but it's close to us. They kind of make shit up as they go, how it favors their fighters, and we've had to deal with that a couple times. But I mean, you can't really argue with the commission. It's a lose-lose situation. You argue with them, even if you win, then they'll be like, all right, fine, you just won't fight in our state anymore.
Is there like there's commissions in each state, but is there like an overseer of the whole thing?
No, not
That's
right
probably
now.
some of the problem then, because there's no like structure to it. It's just kind of like whatever state decides.
And every state has different rules as far as how everything goes. Like Florida, you know, if you're an amateur and it's your first fight, you can't ground and pound to the face. So if you go to the ground, you can't hit to the face. You go over to Mississippi, if it's your first fight, they don't care. You know, you can punch the face, you can do everything in the face. So there's just different rules for different states. But yeah, that would help, like one unified sanctioning body.
Yeah.
But yeah, MMA's not set up like that yet.
So that even means like the UFC has to abide by each different states. So wherever they go, they have to.
But that's kind of different. They all use like the Nevada Athletic Commission.
Okay.
That was it, the NASC or something like that. They use that as like the sanctioning body for all UFC events.
And
Okay.
UFC doesn't fight in every single state either.
No, they don't.
That's probably why then.
Well, not every state allows MMA.
Right.
Yeah.
Like New York doesn't even allow MMA yet. It's one of the,
I think they do now. No.
No, not yet.
I didn't think
think
they
so.
did.
You gotta figure New York City would be a huge draw. Like Madison Square Garden would definitely.
That's what Dana
packed
White
out,
had talked
like,
about, trying to get something by New Year's. They wanted to have a New Year's fight. But
You gotta figure that place would be sold out every event.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about Vegas is nowhere as big as New York City, and think about the casinos.
Yeah.
Mandalay Bay and stuff. It sells out every time.
I think the main thing that holds MMA back is just the misconception about the sport.
Right.
You know, some people still refer it as human cockfighting, basically. I mean,
I don't see that.
look at John McCain. I mean, he wanted to outlaw MMA in Arizona back when UFC started getting big back in the early '90s.
Yeah.
You know, and he referred to it as human cockfighting. So that's the main thing that's holding MMA back. I mean, it's grown tremendously in the past 20 years or so, but.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have a lot of hurdles to.
That seems so bizarre coming from a person that's so like hell bent on war.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Well, maybe that's why though. Being around so much violent stuff, maybe.
Yeah, that's a
is so
good point.
violent.
That's a good different way to look at it.
Well, here's what I want to know. I was listening to something. They were talking about the gloves that you guys wear, and they were saying that they're going to come out with these new gloves to where eye pokes aren't going to be aren't going to be happening as much, and that knockouts aren't going to be happening as much either. Have y'all heard anything about this?
No, I haven't heard anything about that. I think that's been in discussion for about a decade now.
Uh-huh.
Because eye pokes are so prevalent. I mean, look at someone like Anthony Rumple Johnson. You know, he had to get eye surgery after one of his fights.
He had a detached retina, right?
Yeah, very serious injury. So, I mean, they discussed it, and I mean, I don't think they're going to get anywhere with it.
I think that that would definitely help out though, because I was watching.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, what they were talking about doing is trying to make the thumb where it kind of sticks to, the glove a little bit, but then that gets rid of the grappling aspect because you can't grab onto things as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you're hindering people's grappling. So all the guys that plan on taking fights down to the ground, holding someone there and submitting them are going to be a little bit of a disadvantage because the glove is going to, it's going to keep them from being able to grab and get a good hold. Everybody else is going to be able to sit there and swing like normal. But
what would you feel if they just did away with the gloves and went back to bare knuckle?
Bare knuckle.
Mm-hmm.
Then people will try to outlaw again.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing that's still holding MMA back. That's the reason I don't even like to talk about it that much. I mean,
is it a safety issue or is it like a marketing issue? Because now somebody has to make money from the gloves. Somebody has to sponsor the gloves, opposed to just.
That's more safety.
Yeah, it's more safety. You know, when it was bare knuckle, when you had like UFC 1, UFC 2, and you had these guys coming out, like no shit bare knuckle, like throwing punches and stuff.
Yeah.
That was the human cockfighting. So I think the gloves is safety equipment.
Make it more like
wearing
PR
a cup,
friendly.
Wearing a mouthpiece, stuff like that. And actually someone that's listening to this just pointed out, you also got people's hands. People would be breaking their hands left and right if there was no gloves. So there's a lot of things that go into it, but like that's one of the things that keeps it from being human cockfighting is the safety and the regulations and the stuff like that. So.
I wonder what could they do as far as helping out with something like that.
You really can't. next to safety goggles or something like that. Like there's nothing you can really do.
Beekeeper's outfit.
Well, I know a couple of fights ago, I think it was the Jose Aldo fight, in his last fight, and he kept he got poked in the eye 3 or 4 times. They kept having to stop it and wait for him to recover and all this stuff. And it was getting super annoying.
It just happens. Like I got poked in my last amateur fight. I got poked in the eye, and it wasn't a kid. He didn't do it on purpose. He didn't come out and like and poke you in the eye, but shit happens.
Yeah, accidents happen.
Yeah.
I guess it's just an instinct of wanting to move your hands forward and trying to set something up.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Not me. I would just go around poking people in the eyes constantly.
Just doing it.
Like
they teach you this the first day.
Right. I heard that.
Put the hand on the nose.
Maybe they could wear something like that.
Yeah.
Like a double-sided razor blade where it's like a bead. You grab it and it splits you open. So, do you got any fights scheduled coming up?
As of now, no, I don't.
No?
I just had a fight last month against one of the champions over in Biloxi.
That's the one that you were telling us about that was a war, right?
Yes, that is it.
Oh, that was a battle.
That was literally hands down the best MMA fight I have ever seen in my entire life.
Is that video posted to
5-minute rounds.
Yeah,
is that video online anywhere?
Yes, it is.
Go check it out.
Yes.
Is it on your Facebook?
I can post it again on my Facebook, on the fan page, and on my personal page.
What is your personal page?
Well, my fan page is just Magic Mike Roberts. So I need
Facebook.
more likes on there.
Get the
So if you listen to this, go on Facebook, Magic Mike Roberts, and click like.
And then and then create a new account, and then like it with that account.
That's right.
Now, whenever you're in something like that, like let's say you just finished the 3rd round, and you realize, do you even realize like, holy cow, this is another level of stuff right here? Or does that even pass your head at that moment, or are you just like wanting to survive or kill?
Well, when you're preparing for a fight, you get all that stuff out of the way. Any doubts, any fears. So when the time comes, you're just straight autopilot. The day of the fight, I wake up in the morning, I'm just thinking about the guy, I'm going over my strategy again, and then when the event actually started and I'm just waiting to walk out and everything, I'm kind of going through the last moment of just, okay, I've done all this training, I've had all these people here to support me, and go over the final thoughts. Then the moment starts when I actually walk out, straight autopilot. I'm just complete tunnel vision. So, you just don't think about that.
None of that.
No.
I've always wondered this. Whenever you go into the corner at the end of a round, and your corner's actually talking, they're talking to the fighter and telling them different things and check your leg kicks and all this stuff. Do y'all actually process that whenever you're going into the next round, or is it just kind of words that are being thrown around?
No, we process it. We listen to it. When you can, you try to listen to your corner, as the fight's going on. It's you got the crowd screaming, you've got, your adrenaline rushing, you've got to, watch this guy standing across the ring from you or across the cage from you. But if you can hear your corner, you try to listen to them. And we've got 2 cornermen that have like very distinct voices in 2 different ways. So for me, I can definitely hear both of them. One of them is, a little Brazilian guy that stands out in the crowd. And he gets all loud, and if you don't talk to him on a normal basis, like you would not have a clue what he's saying when he gets loud and emotional. And then the other one's Brian Smith, and his voice just stands out. We train together so much that I can hear him when he starts saying knees to the body, go to the body. I hear everything he says. So
yeah, Brian's like a brother to me. We've been training together for years. He's a pro fighter as well, and now he's switched over to mainly coaching. Yeah, I'm always able to hear his voice. I mean, it's a weird phenomenon. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of people watching you fight, screaming.
So you can hear one voice.
Yes,
and you're that's also the only voice you can hear. Tuned into that voice too. Like that's the one I'm looking for.
Well, that's the voice you've been hearing for 2 months. That's the one that I want to hear. That's the voice you've been hearing for 2 to 3 months.
So what made you decide to get into the whole fighting thing?
I don't even know where to start. I mean, I started martial arts when I was 8. And I got into Taekwondo after me and my sister. I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, and me and my sister, we got attacked by a group of people. So at that point, that's when my mom got us into Taekwondo, and that was my first experience in martial arts. On top of watching, the old school martial arts movies, watching Bruce Lee, everything. And then got in a couple of fights throughout middle school, high school, and at age 16, that's when I started boxing. Then I went to the military after I graduated high school, started boxing. Did some more boxing, started kickboxing as well when I was stationed in Japan. And that's when I started getting a little bit more serious about wanting to go pro. And then after I left Japan, came back to the States, and that's when I really started cracking down on trying to find a fight. And then when I got here in Pensacola in 2009, that's when I was able to get into my first amateur fight, and just made history from there.
What about, so whenever you took up boxing, what made you decide, well, I like boxing, I like punching people, but I also want to be able to do more things?
It actually took me some time to get into that because for years I was just only into striking. I only wanted to go pro in boxing or kickboxing. One or the other. It did not matter.
Uh-huh.
I actually had no interest in grappling. I actually didn't really get into grappling until I got here in 2009. I mean, I experimented with things when I was in Japan as far as I did a little bit of judo, a little bit of wrestling. I mean, actually during that time I did Aikido for 2 years. If you're familiar with that, you know, the Steve Seagal, you know, the wrist locks and everything,
Right.
joint manipulation.
Glasses.
Yellow shirt, black. Do the
the
kick.
bald hair. And you see the bad acting comes along with all those skills
Oh,
too.
terrible
which is great.
acting. He
You're
plays the
running
same
for him.
character in every single movie.
Running form fades away.
What was the name of that movie? He was a military officer. He had a fucking ponytail.
You talking about
Under Siege?
Under Siege, yeah.
Under Siege.
He was a cook.
You don't mess with him. Now he's a real cop, and people like want to get arrested by him.
Right.
Have you seen that show? Are you Steven Seagal?
No.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
He's like an actual cop now.
It's like Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
Whenever he was playing for Miami, it was like an officer in the sheriff's department for the
Was he
Miami
really?
Police Department. Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
really. He was pulling people over. And
They must
stuff.
have just handed him like a badge. He didn't actually go through like training and schooling, did he?
Maybe. I
Might
mean,
have
he
just
has a
been one of
degree.
those Honorary things.
Honorary sheriff. Like, what is that?
Holy shit.
If I'm not
What
mistaken-
world does that guy
If
live
I'm
in?
not mistaken, I think he has a master's in criminal justice.
Oh, he
Really?
does?
Yes.
It's sort of like Dennis Rodman is an honorary diplomat for our country. It's
Oh,
the same
God.
idea, right?
Right.
North Korea can keep him.
They
Please.
probably will.
He's
I'm
the
surprised
craziest
they
of
haven't
all.
filled the paperwork out yet.
And he got
So
it married
listen,
himself. I mean, they definitely got some serious issues.
It's all a publicity stunt, though.
Of course.
That's all that is.
You know, just speaking on like celebrities, you know, catching bad guys. I think back, like a couple years ago when that guy robbed that lady at the shop. She was like getting groceries or something. John Jones stopped him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like that's gotta be the worst day as a criminal. You go up and you rob this little lady, and then you're running away, and the light heavyweight champion is now on your way.
It was at that moment. He
Yeah.
knew. He fucked up.
I think to bring it back to when you started boxing in high school, that must have gotten around. Like the first time you got in a fight, and you may have gotten beat, whatever happened, but then like months went on, like okay, he's actually starting to fight now. We're not messing with this dude. He's not fucking around anymore. He's,
Yeah, about that. The
did
word
that,
got
like, did
around.
that happen, or did you get challenged more?
The word got around, but it wasn't in a good way. I got my ass handed to me for that fight.
Really?
Actually, that guy that I fought, it was after basketball practice, and that guy boxed. So ever since then,
What are the
yeah,
chances
that's
of
why I got
that?
this scar under my right eye right here. Oh, I was messed up.
Yeah.
I had this nasty gash on my right eye. My left eye was swollen. So someone called the ambulance, and then they had to take all the proper precautions. Would put me in the C-spine, put me on a stretcher and everything. Put me in. So it looked worse than what it actually was.
Right.
So I ended up getting 8 stitches and everything, and then after that I started boxing. So it was way worse than what it actually was. So yeah, it didn't.
That's
Yeah, the
cool.
word definitely got around, but it wasn't in a good way.
Wasn't in a good way.
He's that
So-
guy now. Just so you know that Mike's not a pussy. That guy is now Floyd Mayweather.
No, far from it. Far from it. It is on the beginning. But to answer your question from earlier, as far as getting into grappling, I just experimented with different things when I was overseas. And then when I got back to the States, I would do just a little. I mean, I would just do it just for the fun of it, basically. So then when I found out I was coming here, because I was still in the military at that time, this was my last station, coming here in Pensacola. So the first gym that I found was a boxing gym. And, of course, I still wanted to strike. So I went there, and basically, I mean, there was a small MMA group. My coach, Todd Leverman, he's one of the great fighters around here in the Gulf Coast area. And that's when I met Brian Smith. He still coaches us still today. He still trains with us. And, like I say, he's like a brother to me. Also, a couple other guys, Chris Barron and everything. So they were doing a lot of grappling, but I was also able to get a lot of kickboxing sparring with them. So I was helping them out with a lot of fights. And a couple weeks later, Chris Barron had a fight over in Alabama. So I was there. I was able to sit back and watch everyone warm up, watch everyone get in the zone, just go out there and just fight. And I just knew, okay, that's what I want to do. And I was able to watch Chris Barron fight. He went in there, tapped it out in the armbar, less than a minute. I was
Wow.
like, okay, yeah, I want to do an MMA fight now.
How long have you been with the academy?
The Pensacola Academy. I want to say since 2011. Around that time, I was only going about once or twice a week because Rico Holanda, our teammate, he was the one that invited me to the gym. At that time, I was mainly training with Todd Letterman over at the boxing gym. It was just a small group of MMA guys. But I really wanted to improve on my grappling, so Rico told me about the place. I think I only went maybe every Friday just to spar. I was going there along with going to Green Drum before they merged together. It was a separate place close to the airport, and I was grappling over there with Mike Morgan and Jeremy Gray, Josh Close, which he eventually moved to Colorado, actually. That was Wednesday and Sunday, I believe. So I would try to catch those days as well, just improving my grappling and my gi game. And then eventually, as time went on, then those two gyms merged, and the boxing gym that I was at, it was kind of a fallout in between that, a lot of drama after I turned pro. And then the small MMA group that was there, we all left that boxing gym. So then at that point, that's when we started training at the academy more.
Yeah. Even since we started doing this, you can kind of see culturally, Pensacola is definitely growing. Like, Travis knows many of the local bands that play, and like 5 years ago, those people weren't doing that. Like, there wasn't local bands. Even like I can see the growth in the academy just in the short time that I've known you, Rob. That you can see the growth, you can follow and see it. I mean, definitely things are going.
Right.
It's not just like structurally growing. Like there's things going on.
Yeah, there's always something going on in this area. Who's the guy that owns the Wahoo Stadium?
Mr. Wahoo.
Isn't he getting a couple other projects?
He has
I think
Stoddard.
Something like that.
He owns like half of downtown.
When I worked at Buffalo Rock, he came and had like a little seminar at the plant one day, and was telling us about all these upcoming things that he's going to be building, and he works with these different foundations and stuff around Pensacola.
Getting more projects downtown, and supposedly building a football stadium. Pensacola is definitely growing.
Where's the football stadium? Is that UWF, or is it going to be like...
They're going to be playing at the Wahoo Stadium to begin with. UWF is. I think eventually they'll have their own, probably somewhere on campus, I would imagine. But right now they're going to be playing in the Wahoo Stadium. That's going to be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
That'd be a huge economic move.
It definitely
That'd be a cool place to watch a football game. It's
That's
close.
Gonna be this
like
coming up.
It's small. It'd be really interesting for
That's
sure.
just coming up year. I'm pretty sure the UWF's football team, it starts this upcoming year, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I knew they talked about it for years, but I don't know. I haven't followed it.
I think it was 2015.
Yeah, well, that'd be a cool place to watch a game. That'd be a cool place to have a MMA fight.
No.
No?
Outside MMA fight.
Well, a nice evening. Why not? That'd be pretty cool.
I heard that there's some state that does outside MMA fighting like in the rain.
Or would that throw you guys off? Like you automatically said no. Like why?
Well, no, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, the weather and stuff like that, and like
huge factor.
Yeah, that's a huge factor. The canvas or the tarp that they use.
Okay.
As you know, as it cools down at night and you get hot,
mildew
bodies and shit, it gets slippery. There's just a lot of stuff that goes into it, and yeah, outside MMA is not the best idea. I mean, I've seen it done, and I've seen it done really well. But if you're doing it on any type of a budget, yeah, probably don't do that. So.
I was kind of wondering this, and I don't want to start anything up, but how many MMA camps are there in Pensacola?
Oh wow, ooh.
A lot, huh?
To tell you the truth,
I only know of two.
Yeah,
I know of you guys. I know of Bad Company.
Yeah, the gyms are kind of limited.
I thought you said MMA
throughout the.
Never mind.
Yeah, well, that's what I've heard about.
Yeah, the gyms are kind of limited throughout the whole Gulf Coast. I mean, MMA is big in this area, but as far as legit gyms to train at, it's very limited. Not to be biased, but the Pensacola Academy for BJJ is definitely the most legit gym in this whole region.
Actually, we
throughout
just
the
had
Gulf Coast, besides Capital to the east of us.
We just had a name change, so I figured I should mention that. We're now the Academy of Pensacola Combat Sports. There's a lot of places that are called the Academy, and Pensacola Boxing Academy, the Academy of Pensacola so we changed it to the Academy of Pensacola Combat Sports, not to be confused with any other associations that might be out there for boxing or jiu-jitsu or any other such stuff.
And plus, using the name Combat Sports just kind of encompasses all of the things.
It opens it up,
right?
Yeah.
Was that intentionally for like business growth? Because that opens it up.
Yeah, because it kind of just shows that we just have more than one thing to offer.
Yeah.
Rob, for example, he's one of our judo instructors, along with Jeremy Gray. I'm one of the kickboxing instructors, along with Brian Smith. We also have gi jiu-jitsu, Mike Morgan, Rico Londa, wrestling. So we just like to offer more than one things.
Let me ask this. I keep hearing you say the word gi. So what exactly is it? I'm not sure what that is.
Well, you have no gi jiu-jitsu, and then you have gi jiu-jitsu. Gi jiu-jitsu, you have the kimonos, like the
white outfit.
Yeah, the different colored belts to show the different rank structure and everything, compared to just no gi, where you just wear a t-shirt or a rash guard or something.
So y'all actually do jiu-jitsu in those
yes.
those outfits?
We'll
I imagine that would be really difficult. As far as, because people could hold your sleeves. Does that happen?
It's a whole different game. When you have the grips involved, it creates more friction. You definitely have to slow your game down, but it will definitely make your game more technical.
As far as because it's more difficult?
It can be. I mean, it's a lifetime journey of learning. I mean, you will never stop learning jiu-jitsu in the gi.
So if you were doing jiu-jitsu with somebody on the ground, would you prefer gi or no gi?
I prefer gi.
Just because you can hold on to it better?
I actually don't prefer to be on the ground. I want to be in a gi standing up, so I don't prefer jiu-jitsu. I'd rather do judo.
Shit doesn't work.
But yeah, like we've been told numerous times, that shit doesn't work. So if I'm forced to do jiu-jitsu, I'd still rather be in a gi. And I like to work from a top position while I'm trying to pass through guard. And for anybody that's listening, I know the gay joke's about to come. Talking about one person being on a top position, one person being on the bottom position.
I was resisting, to be honest with you.
I know you were. I could see it in your face.
He's very. Hey, we have a shout out. Fred Gizmo, thanks for listening. Out there somewhere. If you have a question for any of the fighters,
he can't eat after midnight.
Type it in, and we'll definitely answer the question.
Yeah.
So, some people don't have a preference as far as if they want to only stick with no gi or only do gi jiu-jitsu, which at our gym, actually, there's people that just, they prefer one or the other. Other people, they'll do both. Me, for example, I'll do both because I just like to be diverse in different things. No gi is a little bit limited as far as the techniques. Gi, is more techniques, and especially when you have the grips involved. I've always emphasized my game around the no-gi game because I feel everything I do in no-gi could obviously transfer to the gi.
Right.
Except you have more friction.
Well, what I wonder is, do they have competitions where you do the gi?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was wondering, I've never really seen that. Well, like in like let's say one of your fights, though, people wouldn't wear that, right?
Oh no.
No, not anymore. Days of that are long gone.
Like Hoist Gracie.
Gracie used to do it, but that was quickly finished.
So just can you take anything though that you learned with the gi on and translate it into that?
Yeah,
it's
all the same moves. It's a lot of the same stuff. The only difference is having something to hold on to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I was getting at earlier, and so. Like we were talking about the different camps, whatever. Do y'all have is there any tension whenever y'all go somewhere with one of those other places that train people?
I mean,
or y'all just happens. Pretty much just a whole community of people? It
happens, but as far as our gym, we like to have a good environment. We like to leave the ego at the door. All the guys that we train with is more of a club. It's just a good group of guys. We all have our second lives outside of that, as far as having a family, going to school, going to work. So we just want to come there to a good environment, have fun, train. So as far as going out to competitions, as far as jiu-jitsu or MMA, we try to act as professionals.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't get into the whole game of trying to look tough, trying to act tough. Me personally, I just think you're like a fucking idiot going out there trying to pump your chest out.
Right.
Because at the end, you're gonna have to your skills better speak for it. I mean, if you're going to talk all this stuff and pump your chest out and stuff, I mean, eventually it's just going to show in the cage. So every fight that I've had, I'll just stay mellow, I'll stay calm, and I just stay focused on the task, which is in the cage. That's where it matters.
We got another write-in, the Fury. Mike Roberts, you have a sultry. He says you have a sultry voice like smooth jazz, and Rob, you use a tongue better than a $20 hooker. So,
Thanks, baby ginger.
I mean, reputation is definitely important.
I'll see you tomorrow.
And
So
Now that
$20, I just want to say,
inflation. I mean, 1980. That's a good gig.
right? That is a good gig. But so let me say, I'm guessing I know who the Fury is. I have a very good
The
idea.
fucking Fury.
Yeah.
That's his name.
So let me tell you, this guy.
Is it the furry? Is he into like?
No, he's the Fury. He's not a furrier. He doesn't even have sex, so that's not. That's not out there.
Honestly, I thought he was gay when we first signed up at our gym.
So when this guy first came, he trained with us for almost an entire year.
Okay.
And we thought he was a gay autistic. Like, this dude said nothing to anybody ever. He has not said 2 words to me. We go to train one day. He looks at me, dead serious.
Quiet people are gay and autistic. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Or serial killers.
Or serial killers.
That's
but dead serious. He looks at me and he goes, "Are you ready for the fucking Fury?" And I was
Are you
like,
serious?
Just out of the blue.
Out of the blue. Never talked to this guy before, and I was like, "The fuck just happened?"
He was already in your head.
You made up a new nickname. You got to make up your own nickname.
Yeah. So I ran over to one of the other guys and I was like, "Did you hear what he just said?" And they were like, "No, Jeff doesn't talk."
I don't think I'm ready for it, to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. It threw me for a loop. I'm not ready.
So yeah, I'm guessing that's who the Fury is. It's right in, and he would like Mike's voice.
Sultry.
Hey, that's what they say. You know, once you go black, you're gonna need a wheelchair.
You're gonna need a wheelchair.
I heard that was
need a
part
diaper.
of his game plan is if he can ever get the back, he just whispers very softly into their ear and lulls them to sleep.
Hey, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
I gotta get the
At
W.
this point, I'm not even ruling it out. But a little bit more on a serious note, when somebody's in the ring and they're kind of jumping around and like a showmanship, like does that bother you at all, or is it
To try to intimidate you?
Yeah, or whatever they're doing, they're trying to get the crowd into it. Like, how do you react to that?
Me personally, I have no reaction. Like I said, I'm straight tunnel vision. The moment I walk outside, I walk through the stage, and when music starts, I'm just in straight tunnel vision. Nothing's getting to me.
Yeah.
All the people watching, the hundreds of people watching, I'm just zoned out from it. In the cage, if the guy's trying to jump around and trying to intimidate me, which has happened before, still, I'm just looking him dead in his eyes.
Yeah.
I'm just planning on hurting this guy.
From that person's point of view, do you think that it's a weakness, like they're intimidated, or it's their insecurity and that's how they project it? They're kind of dancing around, hopping around, taunting.
Well, everyone's
Because if you're just sitting there ready to go, you're just focused. You're not even worried about, like, you can just hop around if you want, but what's the point? I'm ready. I'm here.
Everyone's different. They have a different approach. Some people come in relaxed and calm, like John Jones, for example, or some people just come in all amped up and hyped, like Clay Guida, for example. Everyone's different.
I think it's whatever you can use that will get you more in the zone. As far as him, he's focused coming in. That guy's got to get the energy. I gotta get it going, and then now they're like,
Exactly. Yeah, I had a guy like that last year.
Speaking of Slim Jims, I don't.
Yeah.
Macho Man Randy Travis.
What do you walk out to? What's your music?
LL Cool J. I'm bad.
Oh yeah.
Kind of fits the yeah. But speaking of being arrogant and kind of bump your chest out and stuff, I had a guy like that last year. Actually, during the day before the fight, we had the weigh-ins, and at the weigh-ins, he had 2 damn sandwiches.
2 cheeseburgers.
Like walking around and dancing and stuff. Well, okay, I guess he's not taking me that seriously. Day of the fight comes, still the same way. Just cocky, just kind of jumping around, bumping his chest out. So I'm just going in there, just just a flat affect, just straight game face, and I'm just gonna go in there and just hurt him. End up just submitting him with the leg lock first minute.
Wow.
So I don't let none of that get to me.
Did you eat his cheeseburgers afterwards?
Yes.
That's gangster.
I'll do that after every camp. I'll go like a month or so without eating none of that stuff, and that's my lifeline right there. Like I need my burgers, my fries, pizza, and ice cream.
Yeah.
My last fight last month, I went like 2 or 3 days just eating nothing but fucking ice cream and cookies.
Is that immediately after the fight, or is it like the next day? Like, what do you do after the fight?
It's pretty much immediate. It's like that night, like let's go get some
craving something.
Yeah.
My last fight, I had 2 brownies in my fight bag to eat after the fight. I honestly did.
Yeah.
So, Rob, did you ever lock up that fight that you were telling us about the first time?
So, I mean, I guess I may as well tell it. It's not really a secret. People know about it. No one's really officially said it, but I will. the fight date got changed. It's not March 14th. It's March 21st now. It got pushed back a week, but it's going to be myself and Rance Jones Jr. from Bad Company MMA at the Golden Nugget Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi. And I was assured last night that contracts would be sent out first thing in the morning. So, that's what's happening. That's what's going down.
What kind of fighter is he?
He is a brawler. That's the best way. He's a strong guy. He's athletic. He likes to punch a lot. He overwhelms a lot of his opponents. He intimidates a lot of his opponents before he gets in the cage. I guess a lot of people know his reputation as finishing fights in the first and second round. But I mean, none of that really bothers me. Like Mike said, he's focused on the task when he has to fight. I'm focused on the task now. I've got the next, I'm not gonna tell you when shit's gonna start or anything like that. But that's the fight that's going down. That's it. Me and Rance Jones Jr.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Should be an exciting fight. Have y'all ever fought before?
No. I haven't fought him. A teammate of ours fought him. And I think at the time Rance had 9 wins already.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rance had 9 wins, and it was Andre's first fight, first amateur MMA fight. And they went the distance. They went the entire time. And from what I saw, I think the referee's decision was wrong. Like, I think Andre won that fight, but they gave it to Rance. So now it's my job to go back and get the W back for our team.
Absolutely. Mike, I know you said you didn't have any fights coming up, but is there anybody that you'd want to fight?
No one in particular. This past fight that I had last month was pretty much the biggest fight I could have had in this area. It was against Jason the Kid Knight. I believe his record is 15-1 now. We fought before 2 years ago for my pro debut.
Right.
I was 0-0 at the time, June of 2012. July 2012. I was 0-0, and he was 7-0. Still the champion at the time. I was the only person to ever beat him. I'm still the only person to beat him.
Right.
That was a non-title fight. I went in as a late notice type of thing, as a fill-in. And, of course, I was just used as another filler. I mean, all the guys that he's beat, he took them out.
Can't help it.
He took them out in the first or second round.
It's being thrown.
all of his other opponents.
Yeah, all of his opponents that he's fought, he's beat them in the first or second round with submission. I believe he had 1 or 2 knockouts, but everyone else first, second round submission. So I went in there and basically beat him by unanimous decision. So for 2 years straight, he was just pushing for this rematch, and then we finally had it last month. He's one of Alan Belcher's guys. He's expected to go to the UFC for his next fight or sometime next year.
Psychologically, what was it like being like a fill-in for that fight? Because you didn't. How long did you know beforehand that now you're fighting him? Because you weren't aware of it, right?
Well, my coach Todd Letterman, he was the one that got me that fight. I want to say 2 months prior to the event. We had an idea that I was going to end up taking that fight anyway. So my coach said, when it's official and when we know that they're going to need somebody, they're going to need a replacement, we're going to throw you in there. And that's exactly how it was. And I was probably at the 6-week mark, 6 to 5 weeks, which, ideally you want 8 to 10 weeks to prepare for a professional fight. So as soon as we found out, and that's when we really cracked down on it, which, it wasn't too much of an issue because I train year round anyway.
Right. Is there any chance that y'all will go a third time?
It is a chance, but maybe not anytime soon.
Is he not willing to risk that?
I'm not willing to risk that. I mean, really, I had no reason to fight him for the second time because I clearly beat him the first time. Mm-hmm. But he was really fighting for this rematch for the second time. So, after the right negotiations were made, then I finally decided to take that, and then we took the rematch, and then he beat me by unanimous decision, which, in my personal opinion, I think it should have at least been a split decision. A very close fight, but he ended up taking my back in the first round, which gave him the advantage as far as with points and everything.
From a marketing point of view, the best case scenario is if his career blossoms, then you can market like third time's a charm or something. Yeah,
it definitely helped me get my name out there, but right now we have 2 different paths.
Yeah.
Like I said, he should be going to the Bellator or UFC sometime next year. Should be. There's no reason why he shouldn't be fighting on TV. Me, at this point, I'm just focused on building my record, getting more fights in, and then hopefully go to the next level.
Okay. So, is Mississippi apparently where you want to go fight at? Or is it just because the casino is there? It's a bigger draw.
Yeah, there's a lot of casinos over there in Biloxi. A majority of my professional fights have been in Biloxi. There's not too many professional shows that go on in this local area, so you gotta kind of venture out,
Right.
go to Biloxi, New Orleans.
I feel like that would be rowdy fighting in New Orleans.
Oh yeah. Apparently they have some good venues out there.
Yeah. Are y'all gonna stay local?
No, I mean every fighter's goal, every fighter's dream is to leave the local scene. Hit the regional shows, then hit the big shows. Hit UFC, hit Bellator, hit World Series of Fighting, hit Titan fights. Get invited overseas, go fight in Japan, go fight in Russia. Nobody wants to stay local. If your goal is to stay a famous local fighter and just fight cans, for all your fights, they bring in guys that are 400 pounds that can't do 10 jumping jacks for you to fight. If that's your goal, then hey, that's great. You've reached your peak. Good job. Congratulations. But I think any fighter worth his salt is going to try to push themselves and reach that next level as soon as they can.
Do y'all's coaches talk to like let's say there's a guy in Nevada that's an up and coming fighter and y'all's coaches get wind of that? Is that how a fight would happen?
No, normally the fights go through the matchmakers. Each promotion has their own matchmakers. And the matchmakers know, they know all the fighters around. They know, hey, we've got this guy over here that's good at grappling. This guy's good at striking. This guy's, got this going for him. This guy's on a 5-fight win streak. This guy hasn't won a fight in 2 years. So the matchmakers use all that information. They try to pair people up to get good fights. If you're a good matchmaker, some people, like I said, set people up to fight cans and stuff like that on a continual basis because they think it makes them look good and they think it makes their promotion look good. But anybody that actually knows what's going on is going to be like, man, this guy's just getting paid to beat up on homeless people.
Right.
Pretty much.
12-0 against people who don't know how to fight is not as good as 5-0 against actual fighters.
Is the matchmaker somebody that just like enjoys that aspect of it, or are they actually fighters? Because that'd be a big difference there. Like you can actually spot talent and skill and ability.
You have some matchmakers that are fighters, some matchmakers that just train, some matchmakers that do jiu-jitsu. And I think those are the ones that are going to come up with the better matches. Those are the ones that know what they're looking for. Then you've got other matchmakers that are just in it for the money. That after every event, those are the ones that take that money and they go party and stuff like that. Telling the fighters like, hey, hold on to these checks, don't cash them just yet. Stuff like that. Those are the matchmakers. Those are the matchmakers that
just talking shit. Basically, that's all they're doing.
Oh yeah. That's happened to me.
Do you have any sponsors right now?
Yes, myself and Robert. Oh, also Rico Holanda and Brian Smith were all sponsored by No Sequel. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot someone. Jesse Outlaw, he's also sponsored by No Sequel as well. He's currently in boot camp. He should be graduating in about another 2 weeks or so. We're all sponsored by No Sequel. Brandon Rizzo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
If he's off the Hizzo for Rizzo.
This doesn't have to be completely rushed. We can do another amount of time if it's 10 minutes, whatever it is. If there's more things you guys want to talk about. If it's time, if you have to leave, that's fine too.
Are you okay with doing a little bit more? Rob, or do you need to go?
Yeah, I got a few more minutes.
All right.
What we'll probably do is go ahead and end this one, and we'll do an additional 20 maybe, unless you have to be somewhere.
I got another 20 minutes, but I think Mike's got something he wants to say real quick.
Let's see. So apparently we have a shout out here. B Smith 131, aka B Train. He has a question. Who's the slap ass champion in the gym? Let's see. I'll probably have to give that to Rob or Jeff.
I guess.
You hear that, Fury? That means you and I going at it for the all-time slap ass title.
Super fight.
Yeah, slap ass super fight.
Now, is there a lot of tickling involved in this?
I feel like slap ass we might have to get into in a second.
Yeah.
Is that like the sister sport of grab ass?
Kind of, yeah.
A little bit.
That's the MMA version of fighting for grab ass.
Makes sense.
Okay, well, we'll be back. We're going to take a quick little break, and we'll be back. Yeah.